Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Selly Raby. I am a Senegalese fashion designer. I come from Dakar, and I'm going to share my story with you. So I have a child activist background. I've been from 8 to 17 an activist for child's rights in Senegal. So that oriented me to quite, let's say, classical studies. I decided to study business, then to study law, and between when I graduated, I went to those classic studies. In between the two, I started to draw garments. It wasn't expected at all. I was one summer in France between two courses of class, didn't know what to do, so I just started to draw, and the drawings became garments, and then the garments became a collection, and I just realized that I needed to do something out of it. So I went back to Senegal. I found a tailor. That tailor made the garments, and then I was interning in a communication and marketing firm named Character. They helped me put up a tiny show in a bar, no, in a nightclub, and it was amazing. It was quite spontaneous and very naive of me, I think, to just come up with garments and decide to put up the show. But that's how I was introduced to fashion design. So after that collection, I went back to my law studies. I was miserable, and then I knew it wasn't for me, but I didn't want to let it go. But eventually, after one semester, I just let it go, came back to Dakar, needed to take 1 year, feel my family close, and then expose myself to my city's creative scene. I did it, and you know what? It happened at a time where Dakar was, and it's still happening now. It was buzzing. We were feeling a generational shift into the creative scene. You had those new kids that were coming with new ideas, new mediums, a deep thirst to express themselves, and none of the mainstream routes were good platforms for them. So I came right at that moment. I met them all. I entered a collective of artists named Les Petites Pierres. Here it is. So it was something that was quite disruptive into the city, and it had fed me of that energy, the thirst of sharing with people, always being in collaborative projects, and even in my garments, in my fashion show, making sure that all those creatives had something to do. If it's music, sculptures, creating decorums, but it was important to be a force together and not alone. Here they are again. And then after that year, it was fashion for me, it was clear. So I started to work on a collection that was an homage to urban arts, to graffiti, to hip-hop, to everything that the city of Dakar was giving me. And it was the B Street collection. So for that collection, we created, these are pieces of the collection. And here, you have the show in Dakar. It was in a huge garage and in a huge car cellar. And what we did with my collective is that we transformed that big space, like 1,000 square meters, into a giant, typical Senegalese street. So we have coffee vendors. They were selling café touba. Café touba is like the most delicious coffee you can buy in the streets of Dakar. They were selling that. We were selling garments. You had ladies that were, cleaning garments in the streets. It happens a lot in Dakar. So we had that shift into the way we wanted to present fashion. We wanted it to be a deep story. We wanted it to be an immersive experience. And it completely changed the game in Dakar, completely. And it was interesting to do it as a collective force. So, yes, B Street led us to my first international attention. We had an article in Vogue because of that collection. So it was something that was quite big. And after this collection, I realized that I had a deep love for telling stories, building worlds, and sharing that universe with the people who are coming to see it. And it leads us to this video named Inner Cruise, and it's an introduction to my next projects that I'm going to tell you about. So please watch the video. Voila. Thank you. So Inner Cruise was an introduction into that really deep thirst to tell strong stories and to build powerful worlds. So it led me to Alien Cartoon, which is a collection and which was an art performance as well. And Alien Cartoon tells the story of the invasion of the car by surreal and futuristic creatures. And the garments were to tell, were to express the consequences of such an invasion on the way Senegalese people dress, on the music they listen to, architecture, arts, and so on and so forth. So this is the visual universe of Alien Cartoon. It started to be a bit surreal. I started to do collages that were expressing that the clashes of ideas that I liked, the strange and the weirdness was coming gradually. And this is the show. We did it in Dakar's old train station, and we were walking with members of the collective and just saw the train station there. Very sad. It was 100 years old and literally dying. So doing the show there was our way to shed light into it and to make sure that it relives. And it happened 2 years later. Keziah Jones played a gig there like a month ago. So it's becoming the most creative spot of the city. We're very happy of that. And in this show, we had like 25 actors playing the invaders inside of the alien village. We had monumental sculptures of insects. We had a giant octopus in the middle of the train station. So it was quite funky, really good. And I think he's going to confirm it, but it gave permissions to so many creatives into the city to just overcome all the boundaries that you inherit or the boundaries that you absorb within the society and create your own boundaries in your own definition of what your limits are. So I'm going to show you a video of Alien Cartoon. I think it's that one. Voila. Thank you. And yes, the collection had quite a success. We had great articles. Some pieces of the collection have been to Vitra Design Museum, to Guggenheim Bilbao, to Louisiana Museum. So it was quite interesting to see that moment in the city. It was very important within the car because we did it as a collaborative effort, and to see those pieces that capture, it's like a photography of a specific moment in the city. Seeing them in museum, it was quite exciting. So yes, other news and articles. And yes, this shows an evolution of my style from alien cartoon to the latest collection I worked in. This is the name of this collection is Dakar City of Birds, and Dakar is just present throughout all my work. And actually, this kimono was worn by Beyonce last 2 weeks. That's what Raby said earlier, and it was really, really great to see that. It was great. Thank you. And yes, this is the evolution of my work. And between Alien Cartoon and this year, many things happened. I've been to Design Indaba to talk about my work. It had a huge impact in me. And I did a program as well named the Mandela Washington Fellowship, and we're gathering 500 young African leaders in the United States. It's a program of Barack Obama. And seeing all those creative people, and non-creative as well, coming from the same continent and meeting outside of the continent, realizing how much we have in common, how much our ecosystems are alike, made me want to create a project which is Elsewhen. And Elsewhen is a collaborative exhibition that we showed at the last Biennale of Contemporary Arts in Dakar. And I invited 12 artists from 6 countries, from Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Senegal, and Ivory Coast, to reflect on the story of Elsewhen. And Elsewhen is an African city in a parallel universe where nature and technology are indistinguishable. And then each artist has to express one side of the culture of that specific city. And it was quite interesting to see us all building stuff in the same warehouse, and you see people and you see a country, and it was beautiful. So there's a few artwork that we have. It's the video of the making of in the warehouse. So here it is. The Elsewhen project was something very important for me because it made me realize that since fashion design has given me a voice, it was a route for me as well to invest myself into projects that had a meaning, that have a true power. And to me, what is really important today is to contribute into the integration of several creative African cities and to find the format that will be the best to bring the creatives together, to create routes that are more clear. I mean, if today I want to go to Harare to do something that is creative, I know exactly where to go to, how to do it, and voilà, make those divides less apparent and contribute into bringing us together.